and roll was built on the promise of living fast and burning bright. But some legends have stayed long past their final encore, turning legacies into cautionary tales. These are 15 fading bands that should retire right now. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a countdown like this one. Number 15. Mötley Crüe. The 2015 cessation of touring agreement was supposed to be the end, a legal document signed by all 4 members promising fans a dignified farewell. Then came the 2022 stadium tour, and something had clearly broken beyond repair. Vince Neil's vocals were so far below the band's classic standard that fan footage went viral within hours, accumulating millions of views on worst performance compilations across YouTube. Founding guitarist Mick Mars, the quiet backbone of the band's signature sound, filed a lawsuit against his bandmates in April 2023 and officially departed, leaving a lineup that barely resembled the group that sold over 80 million records worldwide. The band that once ruled the Sunset Strip now generates headlines for lawsuits, shaky vocals, and broken promises, which is not the legacy, shout at the devil, deserved. Number 14. Kiss. 40 years of face paint, fire-breathing, and platform boots built one of rock's most theatrical empires. The End of the Road Farewell Tour, launched in January 2019, was supposed to close that chapter with dignity. Instead, a 2022 concert captured Paul Stanley appearing to sing while the vocal audio continued playing through the speakers, a moment that reignited long-standing debates about the band's use of backing tracks. The band's solution to retirement was to announce a transition into digital avatars, replacing themselves with CGI versions meant to perform indefinitely. Simmons and Stanley both acknowledged their physical limitations publicly. The accumulated toll of 5 decades of the most demanding show in rock was undeniable. Choosing digital cartoons over a clean exit felt less like innovation and more like an admission that the real Kiss had already left the building. Number 13. Jane's Addiction. Few bands defined the alternative explosion of the late 1980s and early 1990s more than this Los Angeles quartet. Perry Farrell's surrealist vision and Dave Navarro's guitar work on Nothing Shocking in 1988 rewrote the rules of what rock could sound like. Their influence on Lollapalooza, which Farrell co-founded, reshaped the entire live music industry for a generation. Then came September 13, 2024, during a concert at Leaderbank Pavilion in Boston, when Farrell physically struck Navarro on stage mid-performance. The incident was captured on multiple fan phones, spread globally overnight, and forced the immediate cancellation of the remaining tour dates. Whatever unresolved tensions existed behind closed doors had finally surfaced in the worst possible way, in front of a paying audience. Number 12. Bon Jovi. Over 100 million records sold across 4 decades of arena rock dominance, with Slippery When Wet from 1986 alone producing 2 #1 singles and spending 8 total weeks at #1 on the Billboard 200. John Bon Jovi's voice was the instrument that made it all work, a powerful radio-friendly tenor built for stadiums. Vocal cord surgery in 2022 changed everything. Reviews of subsequent tour dates used words like shredded and off-key, with Variety and multiple outlets noting the painful contrast between the voice on record and the voice on stage. The 2024 Hulu documentary, Thank You, Good Night. The Bon Jovi story showed him candidly struggling to sing in the studio, a brave but heartbreaking admission from someone whose entire identity was built on that voice.
Now he's holding in, but he's been making
Before we continue, which era of rock do you think produced the greatest live performers? Were you lucky enough to catch any of these bands during their prime? Drop a comment and let us know what city you are watching from. Number 11, Guns N' Roses. Few debuts hit as hard as Appetite for Destruction in 1987, which sold over 18 million copies in the United States alone, making it the best-selling debut album in American history. The 2016 reunion of the classic lineup raised real hopes that the magic had returned. What audiences actually received was a technically proficient but emotionally distant version of that magic.
Someone said it was me. I didn't know the whiskey that you gave me.
With Axl's voice shifting into a strained higher register, fans began calling the Mickey Mouse style online. The 2023 Glastonbury headline slot drew pointed criticism, with vocal inconsistencies dominating every post-show conversation. Number 10, Aerosmith. Walk This Way, Dream On, Sweet Emotion. Over 150 million records sold across 5 decades of hard rock royalty. The Boston five-piece survived addiction, breakups, and a full commercial reinvention in the late 80s that introduced them to an entirely new generation.
Just wanna stay with you.
In August 2024, the band officially announced retirement from touring after Steven Tyler suffered a fractured larynx during a September 2023 performance in New York, an injury doctors confirmed would permanently affect his vocal range. The retirement statement, while dignified, arrived after years of audiences witnessing a voice in visible decline, raising the question of whether the farewell tour had gone one season too long. Number 9, The Beach Boys, Under Mike Love. Brian Wilson's dementia diagnosis, revealed in February 2024, effectively ended his public life, a devastating development for the man behind one of the most celebrated catalogs in American music. A court ruling in May 2024 placed Wilson's personal and financial affairs under the oversight of professional advisors, a heartbreaking legal chapter for the man who wrote God Only Knows. Without Brian, Carl Wilson, and Dennis Wilson, the argument that the name should have been retired long ago becomes difficult to dismiss. Critics and longtime fans consistently describe the current Mike Love-led lineup as technically proficient but emotionally hollow, a presentation that the legacy of Pet Sounds simply does not deserve. Number 8, Whitesnake. David Coverdale built Whitesnake into an MTV staple, with the self-titled 1987 album peaking at number 2 on the Billboard 200 and spawning massive hits including Here I Go Again and Is This Love. His voice, shaped by years in Deep Purple, was one of the most distinctive sounds in hard rock for 2 decades.
My heart got in the way, couldn't stop myself from reaching out. I could not turn away.
By 2022, Coverdale had canceled the entire European leg of a planned farewell tour due to sinusitis and a knee injury. He has spoken openly about relying on additional vocal support at recent dates, and Coverdale himself has used the word goodbye in interviews repeatedly since 2021, suggesting even he knows the curtain has come down. Number 7, The Who. My Generation, Baba O'Reilly, Won't Get Fooled Again. Roger Daltrey and Pete Townshend carried the band through the deaths of Keith Moon in September 1978 and John Entwistle in June 2002, a remarkable display of resilience that earned enormous respect from fans and peers alike. Daltrey has stated publicly and repeatedly since 2022 that his voice has deteriorated significantly and that the end of their touring life is approaching. The band's current orchestral touring format is beautiful on paper but feels like a museum exhibition. Two legends of this stature deserve a cleaner, louder, more honest final statement. Before we go further, do you remember the first time you heard a song from any of these bands? Tell us in the comments. We genuinely want to know. Number 6. Jethro Tull under Ian Anderson. Aqualung in 1971 and Thick as a Brick in 1972 cemented Jethro Tull as one of the most creative bands of their era. And in 1989, the band won the first Grammy awarded in the hard rock and metal category. The result so surprising, it became its own piece of music history. Anderson has acknowledged publicly for years that his singing voice is largely gone due to accumulated vocal damage. Recent performances have drawn reviews describing a voice reduced to a gravelly whisper, with guest vocalists handling portions of the set he can no longer reach. Some legacies are better preserved in silence. Number 5. Foreigner. I Want to Know What Love Is reached number 1 in both the United States and the United Kingdom across late 1984 and early 1985. And Cold as Ice, Hot-Blooded, and Urgent had already made Foreigner one of the most reliably successful rock acts of the late 70s and early 80s across 6 consecutive platinum albums. The current touring version features no original members on most nights. Mick Jones, who co-founded the band alongside Ian MacDonald in 1976 and wrote the majority of the classic catalog, rarely appears due to health concerns. A group performing someone else's songs under a famous name is not a band. It is a brand. Number 4. Journey. Don't Stop Believin' became the best-selling digital catalog single in history. And the discovery of Arnel Pineda via YouTube in 2007 was one of the more genuinely heartwarming stories in classic rock. By 2024, the picture had become deeply unstable. Neil Schon and Jonathan Cain engaged in a prolonged and very public legal dispute over band finances and creative control. Following a performance at Rock in Rio in September 2024, Pineda took to Facebook to question his future with the band publicly. The combination of internal legal warfare and a lead singer questioning his own place painted a portrait of an institution in freefall the music itself never deserved. Number 3. Lynyrd Skynyrd. Sweet Home Alabama and Free Bird defined Southern rock for an entire generation, and the band's 1973 debut established a template dozens of artists spent careers trying to replicate. The tragic October 1977 plane crash that killed Ronnie Van Zant, Steve Gaines, and others gave the band a mythology that transcended the music.
Follow your heart. Oh, nothing else.
Gary Rossington, the last surviving original member, passed away on March 5, 2023, at age 71. His death left the current touring lineup without a single founding member, making the continued use of the Lynyrd Skynyrd name a philosophical question as much as a business one. Rock history suggests that when the last original voice goes silent, the name should follow.
Don't live too fast. Troubles will come.
Number 2. REO Speedwagon.
By the tone of my voice, maybe, but you didn't listen.
High Infidelity from 1980 spent 15 weeks at number 1 on the Billboard 200 and sold over 10 million copies in the United States, earning a 10 times platinum certification. Kevin Cronin's earnest delivery on Keep On Loving You and Take It On the Run connected with a middle American audience that arena rock had rarely spoken to so directly.
The jealousy and the intoleration make you.
The current version tours almost continuously on the casino and amphitheater circuit. The band has not released a studio album of new material since Find Your Own Way Home in 2007, suggesting the creative engine stopped long ago, even if the touring machine has not. Nostalgia is a powerful fuel, but it eventually runs out. Number 1. The Rolling Stones. 300 million records sold, 6 decades of continuous relevance. A catalog stretching from Paint It Black in 1966 through Hackney Diamonds in 2023. An album that debuted at number 3 on the Billboard 200 and reminded an entire industry that Mick Jagger, now in his 80s, still moves like nobody else alive. The Should They Retire? Conversation has followed them for 30 years, gaining new urgency after the death of Charlie Watts in August 2021. But the 2023 and 2024 touring cycle behind Hackney Diamonds silenced most critics, delivering performances that received genuine critical praise rather than sympathy applause.
See people turn their heads and quickly look away.
Whatever the Rolling Stones are doing, it remains the most compelling act in rock music, which makes them the perfect final entry. Not because they should quit, but because every other band on this list wishes they had figured out what these 6 decades of survivors somehow still know.